Hey gorgeous, I am back today, and today I wanted to make a special video on what masculine energy men actually provide besides money. This was a conversation that I was having with some of my students in Hawaii at the Rich Babe Mastermind, and one of my students said that you should really talk about that because that is definitely like the kind of stuff we need to know. And so I decided to make a whole YouTube video about it. So obviously, when we think of the masculine energy man, we think of the provider and the protector. And I think that a lot of women that are new to this work may think, oh, okay, well, that means money, right? Like he's going to provide money. And there is such a foundational value-based system of how masculine energy men, think and behave and act and feel. And providing with money is just like a very small portion of that. It's a very important part, but it's just a very small part. There's so much more that comes with that. And in my culture, in the Eastern culture, this is like such a big given, like you just know it. No one even just no one talks about it. It's just like everyone just knows it kind of a thing. But for myself, being raised in the United States and going back and forth between the two cultures, I've had a meta awareness around this because I was very much aware that one culture knew it and one culture didn't, my American culture here, and that no one was talking about it. So these types of videos I hope will help you understand what polarity actually means and how these masculine and feminine relationships evolve when they're like actually put into practice. So the number one thing, if you ask any woman from my culture, like any woman that's not like born and raised here, like a woman that's like raised in that culture, what men provide, like what does her husband mean to her, what does her father mean to her, what do her brothers mean, they're not going to be talking about money. This is the number one thing that if they really think of, they're gonna have to think about it for a second because they know it's so good that they're not aware that they know this oftentimes, but this is the number one thing they're gonna probably tell you. Number one is psychological and emotional protection. This is so deep to the feminine. So if you walked up to the river is the feminine, the water in the river is the feminine, and you said, what does the masculine provide for you, river? The feminine, the river would say, well, the riverbed, it holds me, it contains me, right? It's got me. And that's what masculine energy men provide. That psychological, emotional protection of knowing that they have your back, that you are safe, that you can sleep, that you can rest. And this is so deep for us as a species that, they've actually studied this in, I forget if it was gorillas or chimps. Like this is actually in like the evolutionary studies where they studied, I think it was chimpanzees that were sleeping next to, if they had an older male in the tribe, they slept on the ground. They could like rest. They could like really sleep. But if they did not have an older male available in the tribe, they climbed all the way on top of the trees and slept there, which I'm assuming was a lot more uncomfortable. I believe the studies actually said that was a lot more uncomfortable. So that's how deep it runs. Like it's like in our DNA, the closest relatives that we have in the animal kingdom, they still behave in accordance to that. So this, and for us, as we are more evolved spiritual beings, it goes really deep. And so knowing that the masculine has your back, it's just so deep, right? Like I don't even have words to explain it. So in my culture, when you go to your parents' house or just any relative's house, and there's elder males there, like your older brother-in-law or your uncles or your father-in-law or your own father, you put your head down and they tap your head. And I love that. I cannot tell you how much I love that. I actually miss that. My dad's been gone for many years now. And of course, I do have other older relatives, but you don't see it as much here in the United States, and I miss that. Okay, more of the traditional families still do that. You like bow your head a little bit low, and like they'll like put their hand on top of your head. I can't tell you, I'm feeling emotional even saying this to you now. Oh my goodness, I don't want to cry, but it just means so much, you know, like they've got you. Like I'm here for you. I've got you. I've got your back. I'm holding you. That's what masculine energy men provide. And it goes so deep and so far beyond money, right? Like money is just like one little aspect of it. But that psychological and emotional protection, you know, when I married Irfan, he used to travel for a living. He was like a full-time consultant, and it was like 80% travel for him. And I used to live by myself before that. I was a single mom. And so I was used to sleeping by myself, but it was interesting how quickly I got used to having him around. And then when he would travel, I couldn't sleep. And so our DNA needs that. We need that like psychological protection. And so we in our modern day societies have tried to overcome this. Now we have, you know, police, and we've got the FBI, and we have like firefighters, and we have like our community neighborhood watch. You know, we've got like the dads club at the schools that you know, the dads come and everyone takes turns like rounding the schools. Like we have like systems for that we're trying to recreate, but that like it's just it's a substitute for that, right? And those are the larger systems, and thank God for those. But in your own home, the masculine, it's the band around the house, and you are the home, you are the core, you're the heart, and he's like that protection around that, so you can be like stress-free. Okay, so that's the number one thing that masculine energy men provide. I feel that that's the most important to me, and I put that number one. I think it also, in my culture, it's the one that's like appreciated the most. This is why in Eastern cultures, men are more like it appears that like the culture values men more. But if you really think about it, they value men more so they can protect you, right? I was having a conversation years ago with a girl from my own culture, and she was saying, but Mina, you know, don't you think that it's wrong that, you know, all the households, like they want males? I said, no, I don't think it's wrong. They want a male so they can protect all the women. They want a male so someone can go work for them. They want a male so someone can like lift all the heavy things and provide all psychological and emotional protection. So no, I don't think it's wrong that my parents wanted a son so that their daughters could be more protected. Like, how could that be wrong, right? It's all for us. If you think about the evolution and history of men, I mean, if you really study it, it's kind of depressing and sad. If you really, really think about it, they've always been the dispensable sex, the dispensable gender. They're the ones that have to risk their lives in war for men and children, or for women and children, right? They have to like put their lives on the line for the country. So yeah, if someone wants a man so that he can come and protect the women in the household, that would make you the princess and the queen, girl. Like that's not anything negative about you. Like I remember like you know, I really desperately wanted a daughter. You guys know that journey. Like I prayed and manifested my daughter, right? But you have no idea how excited Irfan and I were that Alina ended up being our youngest daughter. Like she ended up being our youngest child. Or she's our only daughter, but she's our youngest, because when we had her, we were like, she's got 4 parents. And she really does. Like she's got so much protection and providing from her, not only her father, but her 2 elder brothers. And so like we both can die in peace knowing like they've got her, right? So like, yeah, we prefer men because we love our women. We love our women so much that we need the sons to protect them and provide for them. Yeah, this is, I know it's like really deep, but when you think about it, like it just gives me so much appreciation and love for divine masculine energy. Okay, so let me go to number 2. I spent a lot of time on that one because it's the most nearest and dearest to my heart. Number 2 is the relationship container. Okay, so again, I was giving the example of us being the river and the men being the masculine container. Men, this is true in same-sex relationships too. There's always a masculine and a feminine in every relationship. You need polarity for attraction and for, yumminess, for romance. Two alphas cannot create romance. Two feminine, beta, whatever you want to call it, cannot create romance. You need a masculine polarity and a feminine polarity, a plus and a minus. That's just how magnetism works. It's just how attraction works. It's just the name of the game, right? So in any relationship, whether it's same gender or not, you're gonna need a masculine and a feminine, and there always is, right? So number 2 is a relationship container. They move the timeline of the relationship. So you set the standards and they set the timeline, right? So like they're gonna be the one. It needs to be their decision, is what I'm saying. Okay, for the masculine to really truly own the relationship, it needs to be his idea. That means you cannot drag him to the altar. You cannot drag him to the jewelry store. He needs to be the one that says, oh my God, I can't live without her. I must make her mine. And he needs to be the one that gives you whatever cultural token of love in your relation, in your culture. We never used to, in my culture, we never had rings, but we do now because we borrowed this from the Western culture. We like the whole ring thing. So whatever that means in your culture, to claim you, to lay the stake that this is mine, this is my woman, everyone else back away, I've got her, right? Whatever form of engagement that is. It needs to be his idea. The marriage needs to be his idea. Because when they own the relationship in that way, they own the relationship in that way, right? You will feel very much like he wants you. You're seen and heard by him. He owns like the relationship and you're a part of it. So in the Western culture, oftentimes we've done this backwards. We've created this culture where women are dragging men to the altar. That is not how it is. That's never how it's been, right? The reason I reference my culture a lot is because my culture is one of those cultures that's still modern, but relatively untouched by the modern standards and confusion of dating and relationships. So we still have a lot of polarity, although we're very modern. And so that's why it's a good culture to look at for some of these positive things. And of course, they've got their own issues, and every culture has their issues. And for that, I would say, look at the American culture and the Western culture and learn from them. Okay, so the relationship container is also what they provide, the timeline of like taking the relationship to the next level. Now we need to buy a house. Now we need to save for retirement. Now we need to have kids. You can say your desires, but let him own that, because when they own it, they can be fully in it. Okay. Number 3, I put down as physical and emotional support. This is different than feminine support. I think a lot of women want their men to be their girlfriends. That is not what men do. We can train them into it. It's painful for them oftentimes. It's not their natural go-to. That's not what they've been evolved to do. They can do it. Of course, we can be masculine, they can be feminine. But what I mean in support is all of the problem solving of life. Men do that so well. Oh my goodness. If I sat here and just set a list of all the things that Irfan does, I think I'd be sitting here 10 years later still reciting things. I mean, let me give you an example. You guys know we are in the middle of buying a home. The closing has been set for 3 days. I'm super excited. Okay, anyways, super excited. The only thing I had to do in this process was choose the home. Like literally, babe, I want this one. This is my house. This is the one I want. I mean, from like the offer to dealing with the realtors, the attorneys, the banks, the appraisals, inspections, issues that came up in the inspection, all the utility changes, the homeowner's insurance, the moving people. I mean, there's things that I'm sure I don't even know because I'm not even factoring them because he's just done them. The only thing I had to do was choose the house. That is it. Another thing, I've been helping my kids declutter so that we only take the essential items into the new house. That's literally it. That's it. If you guys were following my Instagram stories yesterday, I was out shopping all day yesterday. We're literally moving in 3 days. I was out shopping all day because I just gave everyone a list of the things that they had to pack, and everyone's just packing, right? And Irfan's just got it. That's what masculine energy men provide, right? I had a relative visit a while ago, and she was like, how much is your water bill? I'm like, I don't know. Do we have a water bill? And she was like, you don't know how much your water bill is? I was like, no, I don't. She's like, how much is your electricity? I'm like, I don't know. Doesn't that come with the house? I don't know, right? Why don't I know any of this stuff? Because Irfan just does it. Like, he just, I don't know, the insurance, the utilities, like, he just does all of that stuff. I never know when we're due for our physical checkups or our dentist appointments. My dentist office literally cried when we told them this was our last dental appointment. They said, we've never even seen a family like yours. We love you. You guys are leaving after 10 years. They just, why do they love us so much? Because of Irfan. Because they've never encountered a man like calling in and like, whenever I go to the dentist office, it's always the women over here. The women are the ones doing the appointments, the insurance stuff, the what's covered, the what's not covered, the what treatments. I don't have to worry about any of that because I have a polarity relationship. I have a traditional relationship, right? Irfan just gets on my case. You need to, we made your dentist appointment. We made your well woman's appointment. You need to go for your lab work on this day. That's all the problem solving stuff. He puts it on my calendar. He reminds me. He like confirms my appointments, right? The children's like all the kids' school stuff, like registering for their school right now, like changing all of that stuff. I have no clue what's happening. I can't tell you how many times I've asked my daughter, what grade are you in again? And I know that sounds kind of funny. And I know in the Western culture, that would be considered, you are such a bad mom, right? I'm a fabulously fun, playful mom. I get to just play with my kids. My husband takes care of all of the serious stuff that the warriors take care of, right? And before you guys start asking me this question that I often get asked is, but Mina, won't men get tired? Won't they get burnt out? You know what's really exhausting for hunters and warriors, which are men? Not being to hunt and be a warrior. That's why all the addictions and all the craziness these days. You have to understand that masculine men are hunters and warriors, right? So your man or the man that you're dating, your son, your brother, your father, they are the descendants of hunters and warriors, the best of the best, the elite of the human DNA. That's why we all made it here. They are the elite of the human DNA. The not so elite of the human DNA, they died. They didn't make it. Their genes did not evolve into this era. We evolved into this era because we are the descendants of the men that hunted, that were warriors, okay? My husband, before he got married to me and had kids, used to fly out of moving airplanes. That was his like hobby. That was like the fun thing he did on the weekends, okay? He can take care of all of this and more with his one arm tied behind his back. So stop treating men like babies. This is one of those amazing things from my culture. We respect men. We do not treat them like babies. We don't have commercials and movies where we like show men to be idiots. We just don't. It is highly disrespectful to do that. And so we don't have this culture where we look at men as like incapable or incompetent or like that idiot father that can like, you know, like in the commercials they show here where the mom went out for one day and comes back to the house being a disaster. Nope. That's not how households are run with the masculine in charge. Okay. I came back after a full day of shopping yesterday and my husband was like, I got this, and this utility set up. I spoke to the attorney about this. We're doing this, and this the day before the closing. This is our final walkthrough. I'm like, okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, what are we doing today? The reason I'm so dressed up, he's taking me out on a date. Yes, 3 days before we are moving this entire house, and with 3 kids, he's taking me out on a date. That's what warriors and hunters do. That's what masculine energy men provide. So I have 2 more on my list, but I'm a little short on time. So I'm going to have to do like a follow-up. Let me know in the chat right now. I had a time limit. It took way too long to describe the first 3. I had 5 I wanted to give you guys. However, I've got to put my shoes on and maybe I'll even have him film a quick like outfit of my outfit so I can show you guys my date night outfit. But I'll share with you a follow-up video. Let me know in the comments. Say yes, please do a part 2. Also, let me know if this was useful for you. Every time I do videos on men, some women get offended. Apparently, we're supposed to hate men, but like, how can I hate men when they're like providing so much? I love men. I love masculine energy. I love, love, love masculine energy. I love it in myself. I love it in our fathers, our brothers, our sons, all of that yumminess, okay? Also, since I have you, want you to know that my Divine Union Call in Your Masculine Provider course is currently enrolling. I'm only gonna have the cart open for the next 3 days, and maybe the first couple of days, the cart is 50% off. You got that right. It is 50% off. I haven't opened the cart for this course in a really, really long time, and you're going to find all this yummy, kind of delicious, juicy information in there on what masculine energy men provide, and also how to get a provider, and also the different types of providers. There's different types. Yes, not all masculine energy men are the same type of provider, and how to be able to tell if you're marrying a healthy masculine energy provider. This is a great course for single women and married women, as you learn so much about the male psyche and how this whole providing thing works. All right, so the Divine Union course is linked in the description box. I'm gonna have my son or my husband, someone film a quick outfit, and I'll post it at the end. I love you, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hey guys, so I wanted to do a quick outfit of the day. So I'm on my lips, I'm wearing Too Faced lip injection in the color People Pleaser. I know that's a funny one to be wearing, especially considering what I do, but that's the lip color. And this dress is an off-the-shoulder little like cutout number from Express that I recently got. The necklace that I'm wearing is a gift from my husband last year. I think this was my birthday present, or was it Christmas? But it was like in the later part of last year. And these earrings were an anniversary present from him. Today we're going on a date night. So usually when I do date night, I make sure that I try to wear all the things that he's bought for me versus things I just picked up myself. So I absolutely love these two pieces together. And then I just have my regular jewelry that I always wear. And I'm taking my black Chanel bag. Hint, hint, this is also a bag that he got me. Most of you guys probably remember that whole thing years ago when he took me and bought me my first Chanel bag. And then for shoes, I have on these Christian Louboutin shoes that I'm wearing that I absolutely love. And so that is my date night outfit.